Australian National Travel Association, or ANTA, established in 1929, aimed to attract visitors to Australia through the use of posters. ANTA wanted Australia seen emerging as a modern nation of the future. Gert Sellheim was one of the notable designers who created travel posters for ANTA. Sellheim expressed Australia's modern way of life using many modernist techniques and characteristics. He and his works became very influential in modern design in Australia. His works expressed modernity and influenced modernisation. Further, he experimented with new techniques and was influenced by the changing social, political, and cultural landscape. Additionally, comparisons can be seen with the current Tourism Australia and ANTA's promotional tactics. Gert Sellheim was a German-Australian designer who was born in Estonia in 1901. He studied architecture in Berlin, Munich, Graz, Vienna, and Paris, gaining insights into Bauhaus and Art Deco. Before moving to Melbourne in 1931, he worked as a farm labourer in Western Australia. Once in Melbourne, he practiced as an industrial and commercial designer. Sellheim then began producing posters for Australian National Travel Association alongside other notable designers including Percy Tromp, James Norfield, and Douglas Anand. Sellheim was inspired by the Australian landscape and also excited by the ways the country was evolving. He quickly entered the forefront with his Australian tourism posters, which were seen all over the world. Sellheim was one of the first designers to draw inspiration and include Aboriginal imagery and culture in his works. After World War II, Sellheim was living in Sydney and began working with Qantas, where he designed the iconic kangaroo logo. After a long career producing many notable and influential works that made an impact on modern design, Sellheim passed away at the age of 69 in his Sydney home. Gert Sellheim's designs, such as Trans-Australia Railway and Australian Surf Club posters, are great examples of modernist techniques and principles. Both these posters represent the emergence of a modern lifestyle in Australia. The Trans-Australia Railway poster promotes the change to the modern age by showing that Australia is in the process of becoming a modern country and embracing machinery, showcasing the idea of a man-made utopian world. The Australian Surf Club poster also embodies this idea by representing a modern lifestyle. Going to the beach represented modernity, the feeling of being current and living in the now. Furthermore, both posters showcase many modernist design principles within the design of the poster itself, further promoting the modernisation of Australia. Both display simplistic characteristics, bold colours, and a clear focus. The design style Sellheim used for his posters were very different to those also producing posters for ANTA at the time. This is one of the reasons Sellheim was employed. He was greatly influenced and intrigued by modern print materials and developing technologies. He experimented with a variety of techniques which led to his unique style. His designs, Australia for Sun and Surf, and Visit the Seaside, Travel by Train, Take a Kodak, both showcase his modernist techniques and style. Sellheim's embrace of modern machinery can be seen in the continued use and mention of travelling by train and the Kodak camera in his posters. He began using photo montage as seen in these designs by combining photographs and illustrations. He also created contrast with hand lettering and commercial typography. Sellheim's bold design style was unusual and new for the time, creating a lasting impact and influence. Gert Sellheim expresses many modern design principles in his work. His designs were simple and promoted the ideals of moving forward and looking into the future. Further, his posters promoted a modern lifestyle, embraced the landscape and culture, and influenced modernization. The Seaside Calls Go by Train, Take a Kodak poster is a good example of how Sellheim incorporated modernistic principles. It uses very simple colors and showcases minimalism. The poster is all about the new, modern lifestyle, taking the train to enjoy the beach. By promoting the future, Sellheim's poster is rejecting the past. The design of the poster is universal. The simple graphics create clarity of what is being promoted. Furthermore, Sellheim's poster shows slight Art Deco details, mainly seen in the curvature and style of the typography. The Great Barrier Reef Queensland Australia poster also expresses these modernism principles. The poster uses mainly primary colours and is geometric through the use of repetition. The poster is promoting the tourism lifestyle by representing Australia. Beauty of nature, evoking the spirit of times, embracing the positive outlook. During the time Sellheim was creating these posters, the 30s to the 50s, the entire world was going through social, political, and cultural changes. World War I and the Great Depression were major influences in sparking the rise of modernisation. Design became a major tool in encouraging modernism. An example of this was Sellheim's posters to the Seaside by Train, Take a Kodak. This poster showcases a happy, smiling woman and man running along the beach, expressing modernity. Sellheim was not only promoting the new modern beach culture, but also attempting the rejection of the negative past of World War I and Great Depression. Australia was beginning to embrace its own identity, becoming its own country. Many of Sellheim's works express this. Moreover, Sellheim was influenced by Aboriginal culture and imagery. An example of this was his poster Corroboree. This influenced the new age of embracing Aboriginal culture rather than rejecting it. Sellheim was one of the main designers who used the influence of the changing social, political, and cultural landscapes of the time to inspire their work. Tourism Australia is the new and current Australian National Travel Association. Many similarities with both campaigns can be seen in their aims and techniques used to encourage visitors to come to Australia. Both heavily express the beauty of Australian landscape and embrace of outdoors. Almost all of Tourism Australia's posters and advertisements showcase Australian landscapes. One in particular, where most days start with a board meeting poster, portrays the beach culture. Many similarities can be seen between this and Gert posters, in particular To the Seaside by Train, Take a Kodak. Both show a woman and man smiling on the beach and minimalistic typography. Tourism Australia embraces many modernism principles, including looking forward and embracing the future, clarity and simplicity, and a utopian world. However, there are still differences seen between the past and current travel posters. The Tourism Australian posters heavily rely on photography rather than illustrations and graphics. Furthermore, Tourism Australia has adopted the use of humour in their advertisements to portray the Australian culture. On the other hand, both Tourism Australia and ANTA promote the idea that there is nothing like Australia and showcase Australia as a modern and progressing country. Gert Sellheim was a key designer for the Australian National Travel Association during the 30s to 50s. Sellheim influenced modernity and modernism principles through his travel posters. He experimented with new technologies and techniques. He embraced the rise of machines, Australian culture, and a man-made utopian world. With ANTA, Sellheim was able to express these modernism ideals to help promote and increase tourism to Australia. Furthermore, the changing social, political, and cultural landscapes of the time can be seen to influence and inspire his work. Lastly, current Tourism Australia can be seen to have drawn inspiration from Sellheim and ANTA for their current campaign in attracting visitors to Australia.